Hey everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Sunday, February 18th, 2018. Now, what is going on today is that we've got the moon, of course, still hanging out in Pisces at the very beginning of this day, at least, in a conjunction here with Chiron, which happened at the very end of yesterday, around 9 o'clock at night, Mountain Time. Okay, so what that's doing yesterday and into today is bringing up some uncomfortable feelings, bringing up our painful points in life, just these things in life that hurt us, that keep coming up again and again, that we feel like we can't beat and we can't push through. Well, that's what Chiron brings up. And with the moon there, of course, we're thinking a lot about that, about things that are hurtful to us, about some of our issues, just some uncomfortable feelings about our life in some way, okay? I know a lot of you ask me, what does it mean when you say uncomfortable feelings that come up, that could happen? And with Chiron here, because it's in Pisces, it's just gonna be like a sense of like emptiness or a sense of like lack that's going on inside you in some way. Because Chiron brings up things that hurt, and because Pisces is the sign of like what's going on inside you, of your spirituality, of your intuition, it's a water sign. So the things that are hurting you are not going to be like super physical like they would be in an earth sign here. They're going to be more like emotionally, like just not feeling quite right on the inside, okay, because of other stuff that's going on in your life that is coming up here with Chiron in Pisces and with the moon there. Now when Chiron moves into Aries, which it will do for a little bit later this year, the hurt that you feel when I say uncomfortable feelings is going to be a little bit different. You're going to be hurt, not some phantom hurt inside, but you're going to be hurt about your identity, about who you are, about how people see you, about how you do things and how you act in the world to assert yourself. But because Chiron is not in Aries yet and Chiron is still in Pisces, the uncomfortable feelings that you may be feeling whenever I talk about that, and yesterday and today especially, are going to be feelings just inside you, just not feeling right about your life, feeling uncomfortable, feeling taken out of your comfort zone, feeling like something's missing inside that maybe you cannot see that you need in order to feel happy, okay? And the moon is triggering that today. All right, and a need to not make any rash decisions here out of fear, out of hurt, out of pain, because the moon is going to eventually leave this spot, okay, and move on. And because Chiron too is, I mean, I don't know if I would say Chiron is easy here, but the strength from Chiron comes from beating it over and over again and from not letting yourself get so lost in these feelings, okay? So that's what's going on there. Then after that happens, the moon at 6 a.m. in the morning Mountain Time then enters Aries, okay, where you see it in this chart now that I've drawn over it a little bit. And when the moon comes into Aries, it then brings our attention, of course, to our identity, to who we are, to doing things, and to how things kind of look on the outside instead of on the inside. So after spending the past few days with the moon in Pisces, trying to get right inside us, figure out what's going on spiritually, feeling uncomfortable emotionally inside about our life, the moon coming out of Pisces then says, okay, now that you've reflected inside on what's going on, how can you take that wisdom that you've gained from your soul searching, from your emotional things that maybe you've had to wrestle with, and how can you put that into action, and how can you start to do something with what you've learned to become a new person now that you've worked some stuff out on the inside, okay? And how can you move forward doing things with everything that has happened and that you have uncovered, all right? So that's what the moon in Aries is then going to bring up at 6 a.m. after you were feeling uncomfortable a little bit earlier in the day, okay? Then after the moon does that at 6 a.m., it just hangs out in Aries and does not make any more aspects until 5 p.m., okay? And then at 5 p.m. what happens is that the moon in Aries comes into a square over here with Saturn. So as we're trying to do things today, to move forward, to take all these insights maybe from the past few days and start to do more with them, to act, to integrate them into our identity, then the challenge becomes at 5 p.m. how do I make sure that the things that I'm doing as I'm moving forward are really going to help me put my life in the right direction, are really going to help me have the career I want, are really going to help move myself up in the world and give me the reputation and the social standing that I want. And I think there could be maybe a little bit of a challenge that comes in at 5 5 p.m. where you're doing things and you want things and you see yourself one way, but the way that you see yourself and the things that you are doing are not the best to get you where you want to be, okay? And really needing at 5 p.m. here to help resolve that conflict, to figure out here how you can do things, how you can be the person you want to be on the outside, but in a way that really can get you where you need to go, okay? And make sure you're not just doing things to do them. Make sure you're not doing things that can't help you, but needing to make sure that the way that you're acting, especially at the nighttime today, is ultimately going to help you long term to put your life in the place that you want it to be in, even if it maybe requires some sacrifice on your part in order to do some things that are going to be better for you in some way, all right? So that's going to come in at 5 p.m. All right, and that could be a little frustrating too, because with the moon not making any aspects for a good 12 hours, you know, for most of the day after 6 a.m. we could be feeling like, well, I didn't really get much done here, and now I'm trying to do stuff, and now the stuff I'm doing isn't working. And so I think you just have to be conscious for today to not get lost in uncomfortable feelings about yourself and your identity and what's going on with you, okay? But to make sure that when you actually do start doing things and making progress here, that you don't get too upset about what's going on, and that you're trying to make sure that everything is all going to add up. All the pieces are going to come together to get you to where you want to be, okay? So that's what I've got for you going on. And then after that happens, the moon is just going to hang out there until tomorrow. Okay, and then tomorrow, and this is going to happen at 7 a.m. tomorrow, so this is going to happen really into the next day. But tomorrow the moon is going to make a really pretty aspect. It's going to come into a trine with Mars, and it's going to come into a trine here with the North Node, making it a grand fire trine for a little bit, for maybe like a 2-4 hour period of time tomorrow morning, really giving you a lot of passion here to act, to do something new, to explore, to be happy, to get things done, okay? And needing just to make sure that you're not getting lost in frustration, that you're not getting lost in doubt, and that you're thinking about everything in the right ways, you're strategizing and you're planning in the right way, so that tomorrow when you get this pretty aspect, you can make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, to do things you need to do in the right ways and to move forward, okay? So that's what I've got for today. Now, other stuff going on in the background. What we've got there. Sorry, I've somehow acquired the sniffles. In like the past few days, all of a sudden my nose has started like dripping again, and I've started to get a little sick, but this time I think it's like sinuses or allergies or something of the sort. So I'm not sure. It's like I just can't get healthy again. I think this is like my Saturn in the 6th. I had my Saturn return in the 6th that came exact in December, and then Saturn's gonna hang out in my 6th house for like another year or so. So I just gotta figure out how to get a handle on this. But that's what's going on with me now. Back to the astrology. In the background, what we had is the sun comes into Pisces today. Okay, so happy birthday to all of my Pisces coming in this month. With the sun moving into Pisces, of course, it's going to bring more of our attention to working out some internal stuff, getting right with ourselves inside, figuring out how we feel emotionally and spiritually, being a huge thing for the next month. I know that the moon is going to be in Aries for the next 2.5 days, okay, bringing our attention to things on the outside, okay, because Aries is the first sign since Pisces is the 12th. So the moon's going to bring our attention to things happening outside around us, to our identity. But even though we're trying to act, and even though we're trying to do things today, I still think with the sun here in Pisces and with a whole bunch of planets now packed in Pisces, even though we're doing things externally, we're still trying to figure out, is this really resonate with me? Am I comfortable with this? How can I be more comfortable with this in some way? And how can I spiritually, emotionally, and internally meet the demands of my life here? And I think that's going to be just a big theme coming in the next month, is how can I overcome some things from the past and let myself move forward, so that I'm not just doing things, but that I'm doing things that really resonate with me and can really help me point my life in the right direction. Okay, so I see that is what's going on. We also have, as that's happening, Mars here in Sagittarius, coming into a square, or it currently is in a square here with Neptune, and then soon with Venus. So there definitely could be some confusion about how to act in some way, some uncomfortable feelings, again, feeling like you have something new that you need to do, being taken out of your comfort zone while we're trying to get comfortable with our life and do things that are important to us, having something else we need to do that we haven't done before, that's new, that we're trying to figure out. Okay, that could be a little hard, bringing up some feelings of, you know, insecurity or like lack, or like something that is not quite right inside, that you have to figure out how to reconcile, how to be comfortable doing some new thing, and how to bring everything together. All right, Mars coming into a square now with Venus too could also bring challenges in relationships and with money and with just feeling comfortable. Venus likes Pisces, but Venus does not like being in Pisces in a square to Mars, even though things were good earlier. So there definitely could be some things that come up with relationships. You want to do one thing here, your relationships want to do another. That could be hard, having to figure out how to bring the two together, how to do what you want or need to do while also working with relationships. Could be a thing. Also, Venus rules what makes you comfortable, something making you feel comfortable and at peace in life, and you being called to do something else. Okay, and having to figure out how you can nurture yourself emotionally and inside while you do this new thing that you're doing, while you explore and figure things out. Okay, as well with money too, maybe needing to figure out how to use your money and the best way to support some new or exciting projects that you're working on, and to feel better with all of that too. Okay, so that's going on there. Let's see, needing to do something new, okay, in case you are doubting if there's some new thing you're working on, definitely needing to do something new with Mars here in a trine to the North Node here, but it feeling majorly uncomfortable as you're trying to do something you've never done before and to make sense of your life, and needing to reconcile some of that discomfort so that you can really begin to do something new, feel happier in life, and move your life in the right direction. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is, let me clear the chart, is Saturn right here in a sextile with Mercury. So that again could bring up, I think, some helpful conversations here about your life and about where it's going with Mercury and Pisces. I think we're trying to figure out spiritually what's going on. Of course, all these planets in Pisces, we're trying to take a step back here to see the big picture, see the emotional picture of our life. And I think taking a step back to see things in a different way and to get in touch with ourselves emotionally, even if it is a little bit strange for us to now be putting so much focus on this part of our life, I think is going to help you make sense of your life, of where it's going, commit to a life path, and start to feel much better moving forward about it. Okay, so just an interesting time here. We're being asked to do something new. We need to do something new, to step out of our comfort zones here. Okay, but this new thing being uncomfortable, trying to figure out how to be comfortable doing something that we have not done before in some way, and really trying to work it out on the inside so that we can start to move forward better, and to move forward in a way that's more solid, more stable, more secure, and that will actually get us to where it is we ultimately want to go. All right, so that's what I see going on today. Now for your card, we have the Empress reversed. I don't know why I keep getting reverse cards. I shuffle these, you know, and I always, like, when I shuffle, like, turn half the cards upside down. So I don't know why they keep getting reversed. But I just pull them like they come. And this card today is the Empress reversed, and I think what this is about, the Empress to me, you know, especially because there's Venus, there's the Venus symbol on this card next to the Empress. I see her as being, like, to be honest, the divine feminine, and like a divine, like, mother in some way. I always think of her as like a mother, very nurturing, very caring, nurturing herself, nurturing other people, maybe creating something new, and, like, you know, just caring for her new project, caring for herself in the process, you know, caring for her baby. And when it's reversed, maybe there's a problem. Maybe we're having a problem nurturing ourselves, nurturing others, feeling comfortable in our life in some way. Definitely, to me, fits with all the Pisces energy, especially with Venus being in Pisces. And I think just needing to pay attention to yourself, to what's going on with you here, and to not discount what it is that you're feeling. I think sometimes when we ignore our feelings, when we ignore what's going on inside us in the depths of our soul, especially with Pisces making a trine over to Jupiter and Scorpio, things get worse. When we pretend like what we're feeling is fake, or when we pretend like what we're feeling is not true, or when we pretend like what we're feeling isn't that important, you know, I think that's when things get really, really hard. But I think when we take the time out to honor what it is that we're feeling, to honor our internal struggles, to pay attention to them, to nurture them, and to figure out what it is that we can do to overcome them, I think that's where the magic really happens, okay? And I think what this card to me is saying is to nurture yourself, to care for yourself, to pay attention to what it is that you're feeling, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable, because I think that is what's going to help you in the end, you know. Because I see this card as a woman that's pregnant, think of it as like being in labor or like a long pregnancy, like that's kind of what we're in right now. Is like we've seen like the new goals for our life now that the solar eclipse has come. We've seen like a new journey of where life is going, and now we're like I hope that this like metaphor resonates with some of my men that watch me, but I figure you all have like wives and mothers, and it's like now we're in like that pregnancy phase where it's like we know that there's something new that we're being called to do and to go there, and now we're just like waiting for it to happen, for like the new thing to be born, which I don't think it will happen until Jupiter enters Sagittarius later this year. And now we're in that pregnancy phase, and it is hard. Like, it's hard. I've never been pregnant, but from what I hear, you like throw up every day, and like there's a bunch of horrible things that happen, and it just feels miserable. And I think that you have to realize that sometimes in order to get to this really good, beautiful new birth that could come at the end of this whole process, you have to like deal with a whole bunch of stuff that's hard, and you have to let go of your old life so that you can step into a new one. Let go of your old things so that you can buy new toys for the baby and get a baby room and like things like that. And like just think of it as that, as where we are right now, and you need to take care of yourself in the process so that you can ultimately get to where you want to be, even if you're not there right now, okay? Hope that wasn't a horrible analogy, but the Empress made me do it. Okay, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.